Welcome to Optimal Play. I'm Brandon,
And I'm Kyle.
and Kyle's not Steven. This is the first time.
I'm sorry.
I think other than when Case was in town and joined us for a video, I think this is the first time that on Arkham card reviews it's been anyone but me and Steven.
You're right.
So welcome.
I've made it. I had to move across the country.
You did.
But I did it. Worth it.
This is why, right? So
No other reason.
So this is week 2 of our first impressions, hot takes. We have seen very few of these cards before, of all the cards in the Scarlet Keys box for Arkham Horror, the card game. I think that we did get given reveals by FFG, and 3 of them were red. So we're doing the red cards today, and we have seen an above average amount of them, I think,
Great.
before.
Then we'll keep it at a tight, hour and 40 max.
Perfect. And also, Kyle has agreed to do a shot anytime he says a card is good for Calvin.
I do remember that.
Yeah. You haven't been sleeping much.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right.
Yeah.
You would never
It
lie
definitely
to me.
happened. I've got a bottle of tequila down here for you.
Great.
Yeah.
Cheap tequila, I hope.
Oh yeah, plastic bottle. It's the only way we roll.
Good.
Yeah, we are doing these week by week, but filming them all in one day. So this is part 2 of our descent into drunken madness as we get through this entire box. That's the plan, at least. We'll see if Kyle falls asleep first.
It's a good bet, either way.
Well, you know what would keep you awake?
What?
Reading the Survivor Investigator.
Oh boy. This is Daryl Simmons. He is the photographer. His stat line is 2 willpower, 5 intellect, 2 strength, and 3 agility.
Mm-hmm.
He is the reporter, and you begin the game with Daryl's Kodak in play.
Damn, that sounds powerful.
Yeah, probably a camera is my guess. We'll see. As a fast ability, during a skill test at your location, spend 1 evidence from an asset you control. Reduce the difficulty of this skill test by 2.
Interesting, and it's spend evidence. We saw a rogue card that was evidence, that used evidence.
Yeah.
I think it was like the
Yes.
customizable rogue card.
Yes,
Yeah, damning testimony, that was it. So that's interesting. So he cares about cards with uses evidence.
Okay,
Sure.
makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
he is the photographer.
Right?
So yeah, reducing the difficulty by the test by 2, which is pretty powerful, and obviously limit once per test.
Yep.
His Elder Sign effect is +1. Place 1 evidence on an asset you control. Just as, I think we're going to need evidence tokens for this box, it seems.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how do you try?
I hope, if you've got an Etsy store, I hope you're on creating evidence tokens. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you could have, a gun out, and you're just like, this gun has 3 bullets, but 7 evidence.
What would an evidence token be?
I was going to say, obviously it's a clue, but those already exist in this game.
I want them to be unique Polaroid pictures where each token is a picture of something else, of something different.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like a PI's, Polaroids of cuckolds happening all the time. That's what my evidence is.
All right, that one for Kyle, and I was thinking more like ghouls and stuff, but...
No, just cuckolds. And his flavor is, the truth is darker than any of us know.
Ooh.
He has 6 health and 8 sanity. More than me, for sure, right now.
No doubt.
Check out the back. Alright, deck size of 30. Boring. Survivor cards, level 0 to 5. Secret cards, 0 to 2. Neutral cards, 0 to 5.
Oh, so he's got the core set style for red and yellow.
Main and off class.
Yep.
Survivor in yellow. I don't think we've seen a lot of that. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, Min was the flip side.
Yeah.
We don't have a red with yellow splash yet.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And he's also a call out is he's the highest intellect red card to date. At 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, there hasn't been a 5?
No, there's actually
No.
before
Bob was a 4.
and the
Yeah.
highest was a 3 before him. So
Interesting.
So
Okay.
the next one's gonna be a 6.
Of course, that's the trend.
All right, deck building requirements. Don't count the Kodak or his unique weakness, ruin film, and then basic weakness. So very standard deck building.
Yeah. Okay. And then it is his first line of text refers to the Kodak, so probably we just go straight into what the hell is that?
Go for it.
It's called Daryl's Kodak, subtitle Proof in the Pudding. Okay. It's an item and a tool, And as a reaction, after an enemy or treachery enters play, exhaust Daryl's Kodak to place one resource from the token pool on that enemy or treachery as evidence. And then, as a reaction, after you discover any number of clues, move that many evidence on enemies or treacheries at that location to Daryl's Kodak. Where they don't inherently do anything, but Daryl's ability then lets you spend that evidence to reduce difficulty of tests by 2. That's a long way to go.
Yeah.
For a 2 discount on a test difficulty. You have to exhaust this when something enters play to place an evidence on it. So once per round, unless you're readying things, and then you have to discover clues to then claim the evidence on enemies or treacheries at your location.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't like it doesn't require you to exhaust the camera again or anything.
Correct. Yeah. You don't have to exhaust it for that. Okay. So he's definitely, I guess, his 5 intellect points to that. He should be doing a lot of investigating.
Yeah.
and then taking pictures as he goes. Weird.
So weird. Like treachery's entering play. Is that in front of investigators? Is that on like attaching to locations? So like if you got rotting remains, but if you got I don't know, a treachery that sits in front of your investigator, I can't think of a single one right now.
There haven't been that many.
No. There's not many.
Like Frozen in Fear was maybe.
That was the one I was looking for. Yeah, thank you. It can put some evidence on your Frozen in Fear, like run over to you, investigate your location, and like take the evidence, like
take a picture of
your just like freeze in front of the camera.
Take a selfie of yourself terrified.
Let me take a selfie. All right. It seems like weird.
It is weird. It doesn't strike me as great, but it does strike me as fun. I like an investigator with kind of its own mini game going on.
Yeah.
And this kind of is that. Like, I actually really liked the Arkham horror investigator that has to like sniff each location and then gets like a discount on clues or on tests there or something. I can't remember exactly what it does, but I liked the little mini game that they were playing. It feels a little bit like that.
And obviously to point it out, it starts in play. So it's not like you're like, it's not like it's going to derail your strategy or anything like that. Oh, true.
So like the 2 cost on here is most of the time not relevant. Yeah, it's free. Okay. Yeah, that's good. So it really is an extension of his ability.
Yeah. Which is fun.
Yeah. Well, what's less fun?
I'll tell you when you get your film ruined. So ruined film is a weakness. Blunder traded. Revelation. Remove 4 evidence from cards you control. For each evidence you cannot remove in this way, take 1 horror.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's very similar to, what's the mystic? Diana Stanley.
Yeah.
Where it's like for every card she has tucked, you have to either get rid of it or take a horror. Sadly, he cannot take Deny Existence.
True.
At least not easily.
Irrefutable proof reduced to nothing by the light of the day. Oh. I do like that his weakness is like, dropped my film in a puddle. Other people have like complex, like backstory driven, like trauma that haunts them, and his like, oh no, it got wet again.
Damn, Butterfingers, am I right? Old Butterfingers Daryl.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that this is like, if you were to show me the other 2 cards and then ask me to guess what his weakness is, probably would have been this.
Yep. Yeah. Get rid of evidence from that evidence you got.
The next, now we're done with Daryl's cards. The first Survivor card in the pack is one we already looked at when we previewed this here on Optimal Play. Go find that video and watch it 5 times. It's short.
I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, I did this one with Steven.
Yeah.
Oh, did you watch the video?
Yes.
Have you never seen this card that we previewed?
I actually have seen this card we previewed, but it was only because it got very wet, and I came over afterwards, and I was like, oh, this is a cool black and white card. That's Survivor.
That's right, my like printed out proxies of those that we were using in the pool. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a great card. Why don't you read it?
Okay, I will. It is the Idol of Xanatos, Watcher Beyond Time. It's a 3-cost accessory slot Survivor asset. It's an item and a relic. When you are dealt damage and or horror, exhaust Idol of Xanatos and discard up to 3 cards from your hand to cancel that much damage and horror. The weight of it was reassuring, the metal warm against her skin. This, I think I said in the preview, this feels like such a quintessential Survivor card that how did it take like 9 cycles for this to exist?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like core set.
Right.
And
yeah.
amazing.
This-
And you know what? It's really great for
reaching for the
reaching
ball.
for that tequila. Someone that I won't bring up on. Calvin,
right.
it's Calvin. It's Calvin.
Damn you. Yeah,
There's nothing else to say. I think it's a great card and will continue to be good for high draw investigators.
Yeah, I think that right. I think it's a great card if you're an investigator like Calvin who redlines, and or who has a lot of cards. I don't know, like kind of like healing doesn't often make sense to just put in your deck unless you kind of expect that to be a weakness that you need to cover or something like that. That's kind of what this is, to where I would guess that even though I think this card is very good, and especially the fact that it is kind of like infinite soak once you're redlining, as long as you like take actions or find ways to keep your hand full. I don't think that it like makes the cut as your accessory all that often.
No, because it's not proactive. It's reactive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But this one looks... No, this looks like trash.
I mean, it literally looks like trash. The art is a trash can. This is a 1-cost asset improvised shield. It is item, armor, and improvised traded. Another improvised card. Okay, cool.
What else has been improvised? Is it were they the events that
They're
go
all
to
the events that
Yeah.
like were discarded and can be played from
Okay.
your discard pile. So, speaking of which, improvised shield can only be played from your discard pile. Forced, when improvised shield is defeated, shuffle it into your deck instead of discarding it. It takes up a hand slot, and it has 3 soak of health.
This makes sense. Okay, because if it got defeated normally, you could just play it again. Over and over and over. This is a great card to discard to the Idol of Xanatos.
It's a great card, yeah. Any of those survivor effects like Duke and any discard for positive effects.
Here's my question.
And it gets milled by the best card in the game.
By short supply?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Here's the thing, though. How often do you want to use your hand slot soaking damage and nothing else?
Not often.
Yeah.
But also, like, not often.
No. I mean, I just dabble in Arkham, but I hear hand slots are important.
Not if you spellcast.
And that's true.
You just put 2 ritual candles in them and you're good forever.
Alright, well, but that's the thing, is that Mystics should all be playing 2 ritual candles now that it's been buffed and is the second best card in the game after short supply.
Right. And then just above Tempt Fate.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we need to do like a card ranking video someday. Talk about our top 10. I think everyone will agree.
I feel like it's just inside jokes at this point.
No,
It's not even real cards.
I feel like they're really universal opinions.
Fantastic.
I think this card is interesting and bad.
I think it is the same things. Yeah, you probably don't find this in many decks.
No.
Unless you're like really hurting for damage. It's a late game 1 experience card at a level 0 where you put it in your deck if you're like, oh, I have 3 remaining health at the start of any given game because of my trauma. I should have a way to deal with that.
My last criticism is, how does a card about literally using trash not have flavor text? Just seems like you could come up with a good line for that. But
This is trash. Let's use it.
Perfect. You did it. All right. Well, Kyle, we have finally reached the end of the road. Not the last card to review.
No,
just the end of the road, which is a level 0 cost survivor event that is insight and spirit traded, and is fast. But you can play during your turn only if the final agenda is in play. Okay. Then you draw 1 card, gain 1 resource, and gain 1 additional action, but remove end of the road from the game. So, should we turn around?
I do like the flavor text on that a lot. I think like just the flavor text will make this get into a deck for me.
Yeah, that's pretty good flavor text. Especially when you consider the final agenda, it's like that, Father Dagon is like rising out of the ocean, and you're like, so should we go back to the way we
What
came?
I meant was...
This is interesting. So, okay. Do the rules of the game define the final agenda? Is it assuming there's no more agendas in the stack, even though there could be set aside ones or something? Is it still the final agenda?
I believe so.
Probably. And how many? There are definitely scenarios that literally only have the one agenda, so this is just playable at any time.
But the card
Right?
is just
Like,
the
or
card
actually,
is.
It's more common to have only one act, I guess. Most scenarios have more than one agenda.
But let's break this down in the way that this card actually reads, which is
Okay.
no icons, no skill icons.
Oh god. Yep.
And dead in your hand until the final agenda, in which it will gain you 1 net resource and 1 net action. That's a pretty steep cost for something that is a good flavor text.
But it's good flavor text.
It's really good flavor text.
Yeah. And if you just have Idol of Xanatos, it can protect you from a damage or horror at any point in the game. It's not a dead card. Yeah. Yeah.
Good art, good flavor text,
All that's good.
bad card.
Yeah, I think I agree. I'm curious now. So I think both of the last 2 cycles, right, in Innsmouth and Edge, I thought that the red cards were the best. Or at
Really?
least my favorite. Now I'm wondering if that streak is finally breaking. Because I think every single card we've looked at so far, we've been kind of like, all right,
It's fine.
yeah.
Alright, well, we're going to break it with Exploit Weakness, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So, Exploit Weakness is a 2-cost event with an combat and agility icon. It is a tactic and trick, so Rita can take it.
It's also red.
She already
Yeah.
can, but, she
Yeah,
can take it
keep
twice.
reading, Kyle.
Alright, sorry. Fast. Play before revealing a chaos token during an attack or an evasion attempt you are performing, and only if the difficulty of the test is currently 0. Okay. This
Okay.
test automatically succeeds. Instead of its test normal effects, discard the attacked or evaded enemy. If it is elite, automatically evade it and deal it 3 damage instead.
This is pretty cool.
This is really cool, and it's great in Daryl because he reduces test difficulties.
Yeah, although, I mean, his only built-in test reduction is it's a flat 2. So this is just unplayable unless you combo that with something else that is also reducing it.
What do you mean it's unplayable?
I mean, you have to reduce the difficulty of the test to 0 before you can play Exploit Weakness.
Yeah.
So Daryl alone can only do that
Oh.
if the test was only a 2 difficulty, which automatically succeeding is not that exciting if it started at 2.
Well, I mean,
Right?
the automatically succeeding is not the interesting thing.
Oh, that's
It's
true.
It's
Yeah.
discarding an enemy. So if it's like,
Yeah.
if it's a 2 hit point ghoul or whatever, and he has no combat, he can just be like, okay, I'm gonna initiate a combat against it, reduce it to 0, and defeat it.
Yeah, for the cost of this card
Or
and 2 resources.
another 2, yeah. And obviously, so maybe, you're finding the improvised cards actually have some bit of fun now, because improvised cards are all the ones
reduce
that
Shroud.
reduce
Yeah.
Shroud, reduce combat, reduce agility, like all that kind of stuff.
Good points. Yeah. Yeah, this is really interesting, and I like the design of, like, you reduce the difficulty to 0, like, here's the payoff.
Yeah, no, it's
that's
really
cool. I, again, am kind of lukewarm on, like, the power level and the appeal of the card itself.
No, I agree. I think it's good for the investigator in the box, but that's about it.
Also, I guess this art has, like, I guess it's like a kind of badass woman, like, kneeing a guy in the, maybe in the balls?
groin? Yeah.
It's really dark, though. The art's
It
too
is
dark.
really dark.
Yeah, let's
Too dark.
lighten up the art a little bit. All right, yeah, it's 6 out of 10 on the art, 4 out of 10 on the card. We're reviewing cards out of 10 now. Did I tell you that?
Oh, yeah. I got the email at 3 a.m. when I was definitely asleep last night.
Sure you were. Okay, this next one is a dilemma, and despite the fact that we revealed 2 of the dilemmas on Optimal Play, I don't think I've seen this one.
Ooh.
So the dilemma, if you haven't experienced the dilemmas all have revelation effects. They have no cost to play, but they trigger at an unpredictable time because it's when you drew them from your deck.
Yep.
So this one is making preparations. It is a dilemma and a tactic, and like all dilemmas that we've seen, it says max 2 dilemmas per round. Revelation, choose 2 skills, and it specifies the skills, in case you don't know what skills are. Until the end of the investigation phase, each investigator gets +1 to each of the chosen skills, and -1 to each other skill. There's a certain clarity in the grim mathematics of survival, which is fun, because it is kind of a mathy card. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I need to take this one in for a second. This is almost... Is this the first level 0 dilemma we've seen?
There's another one. We didn't preview it. I think that
Okay.
both of ours were higher level.
Yeah, because I was gonna say
But,
this is
yeah.
almost just a straight like trade off. It's
Yeah.
really good in low player counts, is what I'm gonna say right now.
I was gonna say the same. The other dilemmas that we've seen, largely since they scaled with players so well, seemed better at higher player counts.
Mhm.
Not this one.
This one's really tough in high player
Yeah.
counts because usually,
If you have someone who wants to be investigating this turn and someone else who wants to be evading and someone else who wants to be killing, you
this
gotta
is
choose.
actually like I want to say this is also not good, Brandon, because
I think you're right.
it's upkeep. You're making this decision before you see what's in front of you 9 times out of 10.
Oh, I don't know about 9 times out of 10. You draw cards for plenty of reasons at plenty of times, but
I know,
but it is likely to trigger in the upkeep when you don't even know what your mythos cards will be and what you'll want to
what
do.
you want to do next
And so
turn.
then, and it's until the end of the investigation phase,
phase.
so it does boost you for the mythos phase.
Yeah,
So you could choose willpower. Yeah.
It is. Oof.
And the payoff is just a plus. Here's the thing: is at low player count, the payoff seems really low. Like giving everyone +1 to 2 skills for the entire round feels great at high player counts, but the trade-off is also more painful at higher player. I don't know. I don't know what player counts I would want this at. Probably none of them.
None.
Yeah.
None player counts. Solo, I think, is actually the best. Truthfully,
Almost definitely.
almost
Yeah.
definitely the best. So there you go, solo players. You got a bone.
A
finally.
card for you after all these multiplayer only cards.
Yeah.
Finally, a practically solo only card. That said, when I completely irresponsibly put every dilemma into a deck, this is going in that deck.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Did we read the flavor text? Read the flavor text?
I read the flavor text. Yeah, certain clarity in the grim mathematics of survival.
Yeah. That's great. I love that.
Yeah, it's a good line, but also it's fun. That's on a card that's like has you doing arithmetic with the 4-player game 16 skill numbers.
Yeah. Oof. And generally, I feel like a -1 to a skill can be pretty bad for the person who wants it, and a +1 to a skill is marginally okay for the person who wants it.
Yeah, -1 does kind of feel bad a little bit more than +1 feels good.
Unless again, it's solo and you're like tanking your 1
Yeah.
combat to 0.
Yeah, and I don't want to dwell on this card
Yeah.
too much longer. And, unless you have someone who's really into agility, like a Kimani, maybe agility is just a safe choice every time, and then you're kind of down to, well, 2 of the 3 skills that we care about are buffed. Like, maybe you can kind of have a team comp where you almost always want... You kind of know what the choices will be,
Yeah.
but then you still
So
have
you're
to
saying it's a build around card.
build your entire party around this dilemma. Yeah.
Great. Love it.
120 cards worth of deck building has to consider making preparations.
It's true. All right. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Are you predator or are you prey?
Oh, I'm predator.
Okay, good.
Don't soundbite that though.
I was gonna say I got the next gift.
That's not going on the soundboard.
Oh, it's going on the soundboard. Don't you worry. Got him. All right, so this is another dilemma. So it's null costed event. Predator or prey is a dilemma. Is a tactic. Max 2 dilemmas. Revelation: if there are no enemies in play, draw 1 card. Otherwise, you must decide. Choose 1. Each unengaged enemy moves once towards the nearest investigator, or each investigator disengages from each enemy engaged with them and moves 1 away from the nearest enemy.
Yeah, I think this one's potentially quite good.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you'd almost always be happy to have with one of these effects, and if there's no enemies in play, it's not a dud. It replaces itself.
It replaces itself. I think that if it didn't have this, I'd be like, this is a really bad card.
Yeah, because you draw it the second turn of the game or whatever when there's no enemies yet, and that would be it needed that card draw. Luckily, it has it.
Yep. I think it's actually quite good. The only thing I don't love about it is that it forces the decision for each investigator. So like, if your seeker really wants to get away from an enemy, but your guardian is like, but I'm engaged with the guy I want to kill. Like, there's that trade-off there. So I could see it being kind of a contentious moment where you have to make a big party decision, and maybe not everyone's thrilled. But I think more than not, it will be very good.
Yeah, well, and I think that what you just described is the spirit of the dilemmas of the mechanic itself, right? That's what Maxine and the rest of the developers were going for.
Yep.
Was for these cards to be like, oh, yay!
And then you have a mini war game where you start making alliances. You better get me away from this enemy, or I'm like not gonna help get any more clues.
Revelation. Argue for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. Should be like a disclaimer on the box, like plus 15 minutes to every Arkham game from here on.
I look forward to the situation where someone needs to make the case for why they think that a certain dilemma choice should be made without talking about the hidden card in their hand.
Yes. I like that a lot. Alright, so just a bunch of dilemmas in Carcosa is what I'm hearing is our next campaign.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah. This next card is not a dilemma. It is Shed a Light, which I think I like this art. It's dark in some places, but light in all the right places. Anyway, it costs 2. It's a survivor event. It's an insight and a trick, and it is fast. There's a lot of fast events in this box.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not having to commit your actions to the Scarlet Keys events very often.
Love it.
Play before revealing a chaos token during an investigation that you're performing, only if the difficulty of this test is currently 0. Oh.
A theme.
Starting to see a trend here.
Is it fence? No.
This test automatically succeeds. You discover 1 additional clue at this location and 1 additional clue at any location. This is great.
This is a good card.
We
found a good card.
A good red card.
Really good red card.
In the Scarlet Keys box.
And I have to say, it shores up one of the Survivor's biggest weaknesses, which is clue acceleration.
Yes.
And like that is known for a while to be a really big issue.
Yep. For no, I mean, you obviously have to work a little bit. You have to reduce the shroud to it's an investigation, so generally the shroud to 0. But also that is one of the easiest. Almost every scenario has a 2 shroud location at least.
And also
go there.
And we started with flashlights. We have old key rings. We have lanterns. We have a ton of tools naturally,
that
and
reduce
then
shroud. Yeah.
Daryl as well.
Yeah, reducing shroud is just hugely more common than reducing like the evade skill of an enemy.
Yeah,
which happens much more rarely. I think this card's just good. Just
auto include in Daryl for sure.
3 clues. I would say like the one downside is that 2 of your 3 clues have to come from a location that was easy to investigate anyway. Right? But one of them can be yanked from that 5 shroud location.
You can get a 4 shroud with Daryl and flashlight.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, and you need a flash for your camera. So.
Exactly.
And
so you're shedding light.
It's
all connecting.
It is. It's all working.
All right. Thematic win. Great art. Great card. Nothing else to say.
Yeah.
Except I'm at a crossroads.
Are you?
Yes. It's a dilemma I have often. It's a one experience dilemma. Null cost as all they have been so far. Revelation, choose an investigator and decide 1. The chosen investigator must immediately take an action as if it were their turn, then discard 1 card at random from their hand. Or, the chosen investigator loses 1 action during their next turn, then draws 3 cards. I like that one a lot.
I think this is good. I think that both of these are options that can be quite powerful, and I think that you will almost always be okay settling on one of them.
Yep.
It's especially since it's choose a player.
Yeah.
It would almost be more fun if you had to choose one of these and then all the players do it. Ooh. Maybe that would just be too powerful to give the team up to 4 free actions.
I mean, also like the team 12 cards for 4 actions.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is very good.
I can see why it's not that way. Although I almost wonder if that was the original design, because that makes the dilemma argument more prominent.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
This is very good.
Yeah. Okay, 2 good cards in a row.
We're rolling.
So let's roll into Lifeline. Max 1 per turn. I hate it already. No, this is a 1-cost level 1 survivor event that is fortune traded. Max 1 per turn. It says, fast play when an investigator's turn would end. That investigator may take X additional actions during their turn. X is the number of skill tests they failed during their turn. And then exile Lifeline. Okay. Well, Stella would love this.
I love this card.
Yeah?
This is like so up my alley for Survivor. It hurts.
I don't know how. Yeah, in a general sense, I don't know how often you're failing like more than 1 action in a turn. You definitely don't want to be.
No.
But yeah, for Stella though.
For Stella, it's amazing. For a lot of Survivors, if you're playing with the fail to win mechanics, this is amazing.
Yeah.
If you have what's that card that Stella loves? That's like your first couple actions difficulties are increased, or your first actions difficulties increase.
Oh, it's the chessboard one, but the name of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't conjure.
But that one.
That one.
Like all these extra actions at -1 difficulty. Also with the difficulty mattering in this. This is great.
That all seems good.
I love this card.
Yeah.
Yeah. No complaints. I think it's very good. I think the fail to win survivors are going to adore this.
It even has a wild icon, so while it's a little bit of a niche effect, like it has a decent icon. Unlike what was the card that had no icons on it, and we were complaining about that? End of the Road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is seems good.
Yeah, and like one cost, one experience, pretty cheap, fast. So like worst comes to worst, you're like, I just tested 3 times and auto failed all 3 times, and I'm furious. I'm going to spend I'm going to spend 1 resource to just gain 2 resources and draw a card, just so my turn doesn't feel so bad.
Yeah. And this, you definitely changed the way you build your deck a little bit. Like, is it try again? What is the kind of almost a variant of Lucky, but you try the test again as opposed to...
It's Live and Learn.
Live and Learn, that's the one. So like Live and Learn goes great with this because instead of you might include that in your deck instead of Lucky if you're also running Lifeline, or maybe just both because
they're great. Yeah,
and
it's an additional action you're taking, even though it's not counting for an action, right? Or no, it's just an additional test you're taking.
Yes, but this does not care about the number of actions you failed skill tests in. It only cares about the number of skill tests you failed. So if you're doing things like, I don't know, weird locations or something that have multiple skill tests involved, you can even get more failures than you had.
So you're saying when you fail your track shoes test, that's also an action or that skill test that you failed.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Ooh, I like it even more.
I've never seen someone so excited to fail as you are right now.
Survivor is my class. I love to fail.
It's true. It's just your nature.
That's so good. All right.
What?
I need to take this 3-second pause to scoff at it's your nature into Nature of the Beast. Another dilemma for us, a null cost event, one experience again. Reveal the top 3 cards. Oh, I did this one, didn't I?
Yeah, we previewed this one.
This was a long time ago when we were in the pool for 8 weeks. You remember that?
Yeah, that was the best 8 weeks of my life.
That's what they say. Alright, reveal the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Choose an investigator to draw one of the revealed cards and discard the rest. Then choose an investigator to discover 1 clue at a revealed location. This is not the same card I thought it was. This is a new dilemma.
No, we looked at this. We looked at 2 dilemmas. This was one of them. Yeah.
Are you sure? Oh, yes. This was the last one we did. You're right. Alright, yeah. Reveal the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so I think this is another dilemma that's very good. I think that...
You think it's very good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that getting a costless clue from any location at the cost of... You get to choose which of 3 encounter cards you draw and which player draws them. So you have a lot of room to make sure that doesn't hurt that much. And just get a free clue. And that's an effect that is likely to be quite good. Like, there might be times when you draw this and you're like, oh, we have to get an encounter card, and there's, our Seeker was going to have no problem getting every clue on the map this turn anyway. But... for the most part, I think this is an effect I'm happy about.
Yeah. I mean, I wish it had something like, if there are no clues on the board, draw a card instead. Just for the times that hits. Because then you're just drawing an encounter card for no good reason.
Yeah,
that feels less good.
I think that is much less common than there being no enemies.
I mean, I definitely
I don't know that was worth the text on the card, that kind of thing, for that niche scenario.
I still feel like, I think I said this in the review when we looked at it the first time, I'm going to have trouble getting this into a 30-card deck, because it is, at the end of the day, gain 1 clue 1 time.
Just play that new rogue permanent that adds 10 cards to your deck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, easy.
Solved. Never mind. Everything redacted. Great card. Yeah, I think it's not super flashy, but it's fun.
Yeah, I agree. And I do wonder if it also, like, one of the earlier drafts of this card had a tougher decision. Like, I think that the dilemmas that you can really see people debating and arguing over which choice to make are the most interesting. And this is this is another one that's not really one of those.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is a little disappointing to me now that I've seen ones like At a Crossroads is my other example that is not like that, but like Predator or Prey, where you might really have different opinions about which one you should do.
Yep.
Next we have Gumption, a skill card with no icons on it, but 1 pip, meaning it costs you an experience point. You may commit Gumption to any type of skill test, and while Gumption is committed to a skill test, that test gets -2 difficulty.
There it is.
Now you listen here, mister. Yeah, this is another great way to reduce the difficulty to 0 for those cards we're seeing that reward you for doing exactly that. Seems good. This
Reducing difficulty, in my opinion, this is like heads and shoulders over like a unexpected courage. Obviously it should be because it's an experience point, but +2 skill is not nearly as good as -2 skill.
Agree, or -2 difficulty.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It seems like a really solid card. Just like an improvement on double wild cards.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Nice.
And it's an 8.
It is an 8 out of 10?
An 8.
Oh, okay. Next up,
baseball bat. We see it again. It's an upgraded copy of baseball bat. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I don't know why that excited me so
the
much.
Same art?
No, it's definitely not.
It's different.
It must be, they updated the core set, and I think this is
probably
that art.
They redid some of the core set art, yeah.
My guess. I don't know. I don't own that. This is a 2-cost, 2-experience asset with 2 combat icons. So it's just a same cost, just 2 experience more, and an extra icon or something like that. Item, weapon, melee traded, or melee, if you would.
I will.
Fight as an action. You get +2 for combat for the attack. This attack deals +1 damage. If a skull or auto-fail symbol is revealed during this attack, either choose one. Return baseball bat to your hand after this attack. Or, this attack deals +1 additional damage. Discard baseball bat right after. So it normally did +2 combat, +1 damage, and if those things were revealed, it would discard it.
Yeah.
Now it can either come back to your hand or discard with a +1 extra damage.
I don't know what the flavor of it returning to your hand is. Are you like duct taping it back together when it breaks?
Yeah.
Okay. Settled that then. And the attack deals an extra +1 damage. But discard it. I don't know. I think this is a more interesting card. I still think it's pretty meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty meh. It's like fine. It's nice if you're a what's his name? William York.
True.
Like being able to do quick 3 damage, get it out of your hands.
Play it back out of the discard pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the person I see it most for. Like the little extra damage boost is nice if you have some sort of recursion, or if you're just like quickly cycling weapons, or
agree.
Anything like that. I feel like you don't often return it to your hand unless it's the only weapon in your hand. That's my general feeling.
Yes.
Like I don't think this
like
is
if
your
you have
core
no
weapon.
if you have no fallback, no plan B, if this gets discarded, you return it to your hand.
Yeah. Otherwise, then you're just like, okay, we did it. Let's move on.
But then you drew an auto fail, didn't do a damage. The enemy is still on you. You have to take an attack of opportunity to replay it. It's still not a good plan.
Yeah. Actually, funny enough, if you draw an auto fail, and you, for whatever reason, so this is a great grief card. If you draw an auto fail or you're trying to baseball bat someone else's enemy on them, you could opt to do an additional +1 damage to your friend and discard your only melee weapon, so that you're like, oh, sorry, can't help you anymore.
That is fun.
That's fun.
Yeah. And
all right, it's a good card now.
Then it's just enough to destroy their trash can lid. Okay, next. So I'm excited to read Katya, because when we, and this is a long story that's not worth telling, but
you're gonna tell it.
Yeah. So when we previewed the first dilemma, and I wanted to share some of the rules around it, I messaged Maxine, and she sent me a screenshot of the dilemma rules text. But that rules text that explains the max 2 and stuff, it mentions Katya Eastbank by name. And she was like, you can share this, but redact the name of that card that hasn't been revealed yet. So I did. That's like, so the dilemma rules that were floating around had Katya's name redacted in it because it came from me to the internet.
Amazing.
And I used like a black box over it or something to redact the name of the card as requested of me. So
Wow.
I'll be curious to see how she interacts with dilemmas.
I'm excited.
Yeah. She is a 3-cost level 2 survivor asset who is an ally and a scholar and takes up the ally slot. As a reaction, when you draw a non-weakness card from the top of your deck, before resolving any of its effects, there we go, so this is for revelation effects from your deck, exhaust Katya. To place that card face down beneath her, limit 5 cards beneath her, draw a new card to replace it. And then as an action, you can draw any card beneath Katya Eastbank. Let's bookmark that for later. Oh, I don't think I read her subtitle. She's the Keeper of Esoteric Lore, which is a good title.
I like that title.
Okay, so this doesn't mention dilemmas by name, but is clearly meant for you to be able to pocket them and then choose, as an action, to resolve them at a later time. That's a cool effect to have with dilemmas. I don't know that any of the dilemma effects have been like, yeah, I'm going to use my ally slot to build around this. Like, are the dilemmas that good?
Well, I have to point out that this does not say doesn't call out revelation by name.
Oh, so that's funny.
You can just be like, no, I don't want that card right now. I'm looking for something very specific. I am going to put this under Katya for a later date.
And draw a new card
And draw a new card right now. This is great.
Ooh. I didn't even think the before resolving any of its effects plus the background with it being being mentioned the dilemma rules made me think dilemmas. But yeah, it's any card you can set aside for later, draw a new card to replace it. That does seem very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
This is like 5 times per game. You can look at 2 cards off the top of your deck, choose one to draw, put one in a secret back pocket.
Yeah, it's not as good at looking at 2 because you have to look at one and then decide.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially if I think this is great in any deck that has those key card, components that you're really, really digging for.
Right.
It just helps you get there quicker.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think she's great.
I think
a level 5 version of her, where it changes that action to a fast action, would still think that would be amazing.
That changes the draw the card underneath her too fast. I guess it would have to exhaust her.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I guess it doesn't exhaust her. I didn't even realize
her reaction exhausts her, so it's once per round on the replacing a draw.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know if spending an action or exhausting her would be better. Anyway. Solid, just like kind of draw filtering. Yeah. And with the added bonus of if you have dilemmas in your deck, you can save them for later.
And when they're going to be really effective.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I like.
Speaking of dilemmas.
Yes, let us heed the dream. We read this one.
We did.
This was our first one. Now I remember which ones we did.
I'm glad.
All right, so this is a 2 experience dilemma. It's Augury, dilemma traded. Revelation, reveal a top card of each investigator's deck and place them into a pile. Repeat this 2 more times, so make 3 piles of everyone's top card of their deck. Choose one of the 3 piles. Each investigator draws each of their cards from that pile. Shuffle each weakness in each other pile into their owner's deck. Remove each other revealed card from the game.
Yeah, and after we previewed this, a lot of people were negative on this because it causes cards to be lost, which is I think it's kind of a fallacy. People really don't like losing the stuff they put in their deck.
We're loss averse.
Yeah. And it's the same thing I'll say with short supply. Like, I think that's a fallacy to actually feel that bad about that. Like, you are just as likely to never draw it or have it discarded by treachery or something anyway. So yes, you might, if you're running to Heed the Dream, you might be a little bit more reluctant to have several different must-have cards in your deck to make your deck work. But that's not the average deck anyway. I think this is very good.
Very good.
Yeah, and this is one that scales with the number of players. It's better at higher player counts because it generates more free draw.
Yep.
And makes the argument about which pile to draw more interesting.
Sure, gonna be some argument. This is like a plus 5 minutes conversation every single time.
Could be. Yeah, sometimes I think it'll be really obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the piles might just have everyone's weakness in it.
Draw it.
And that's something that someone will do sometime, is they'll look at this pile of weaknesses and be like, rather than shuffle these into our deck, let's get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's choose that one.
I mean,
Yeah.
we did talk about how good Rook was for being able to choose your weakness draws.
That's true. Yeah.
I like it.
Salvage is a level 2 0-cost event. It's an insight, and it says choose an item asset in your discard pile. Either remove that asset from the game and gain resources equal to its cost, or play that asset paying its cost. You feel a bit discarded too. This
like
art. This is
Yeah.
like photorealistic.
I was gonna say, like, this art is gorgeous.
This is like unnervingly realistic looking.
Yeah. I'm like, is this like a fan made card that just like slipped into the deck?
Yeah,
you
that
know?
had someone
photo.
pulled a Google or like a stock image for it or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Very, very realistic. I would agree. But you'll see that in this game where you'll see, like, this particular illustration is like, they're always this style. You know?
So is it realistic that you would put this card in your deck?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's great.
I think so too, actually.
Yeah, I think obviously it's not every deck, but recurring items is real nice, especially if you're not a high investigator.
The flexibility of put it into play, or it's an econ card, set it aside from the game.
That is actually
and
probably
gain that money. This card seems great, actually.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Especially anything that combos with the best card in the game, Short Supply, is amazing. And this is like Short Supply makes this playable turn 1 for like as an
Probably
econ card,
3 or 4
or to
resources.
play.
Yeah.
Or it's like you have a bunch more items you can put into play with it.
Yeah.
Very solid card. I think this is great.
Yep. Totally agree. I feel a bit discarded.
You know what else you would discard?
An upgraded version of Old Keyring? Sure would.
You are way too excited about our rusty old keyring.
Oh, you know it. It is a 1 cost, 3 experience, 2 intellect icons, Old Keyring, item tool traded, uses 3 keys instead of 2. And you'll notice that the art has changed to include more keys on the keyring.
Has it?
Not 3, I will say, but yes, there are more keys than in the original art.
That's fun. I like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
If there are no keys on Old Keyring, discard it. As an action, investigate. Your location gets -2 shroud for this investigation. If you succeed, remove 1 key from Old Keyring. If this test's difficulty is 0, you discover 1 additional clue.
More clue compression
That's good.
on either low shroud locations, or combining this with, we've seen both Daryl but there was also what other card was it that like uses its tokens to reduce shroud or to reduce difficulty? Wasn't that one? Am I going crazy here?
Another card that cares about reducing difficulty?
Yeah, wasn't there another reduced difficulty card that we've read in the last 15 minutes?
Yeah, it was a skill card that had no icons.
Oh, right, Gumption. That's what I'm thinking
Gumption.
of. Yeah, this goes great with Gumption.
It goes great.
It goes great.
You know who it really is gonna just fly in is Bob Jenkins.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you
just keep
just
going.
keep playing it. Yeah.
Oh god.
Yep. It's 3 experience, so it's not a cheap XP card for survivors, but 1 costs. That is a very recurable cost. It is strictly better than Flashlight, I'm happy to say, since it's a level 3 class card. It probably should be.
Yep.
Old Keyring though was not strictly better than Flashlight because it got less clues overall.
It's true.
But now,
wow,
it is.
This is very good. How does it compare to Lucky Cigarette Case and Rabbit's Foot, the other ones that went from 0 XP to 3 XP?
They all got really, really powerful when they got their new versions. I think there's no exception.
I agree.
This card's amazing.
Yeah, no, I think this is the tool that Survivor's been missing.
I don't know that Survivor's been missing anything. Survivors are good.
I mean, they're great, but clue compression and this pack has answered that question.
Yeah.
In a few different ways.
So now they can do it all, and they do it even without putting Doom on the table.
And they do it by failing all the tests and then just getting a million more actions.
The problem is now you want to build like a 60 card deck, don't you? Have all these new toys in it. Good luck with that. Yet another dilemma. I am surprised. So after we previewed 2 dilemmas and there was a third one that another content creator previewed, I kind of thought like, well, 3 is a good number for something like that. We've probably seen them all. Turns out
is this 6?
Is this the 6th? Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dilemmas.
A lot of dilemmas.
Turns out. This one's called Fickle Fortune, and it has creepy, like, fortune teller robot from a carnival vibes.
I really like it.
Yeah. It is a dilemma and a fortune card, and says, Revelation, you must decide, choose one. Place 1 doom on the current agenda. Each investigator heals 3 damage and 3 horror. Or, jeez, I cursed us by mentioning doom a minute ago.
You did, oh my god.
Or remove a doom from the current agenda. Each investigator takes 1 direct damage and 1 direct horror, and then you have to remove this from the game. This seems very strong.
Yep.
One of these is likely to be appealing. And sure, like, removing a doom from the agenda might kill Calvin or something, but he's not afraid of drama.
Agreed.
Yeah, so this is a great Calvin card. I'll drink.
Yeah, I feel like it does exactly what you need it to do, right? It's like, I'm fine on health and sanity, but I'm running out of time in this thing, and I can remove a doom to stay alive, or to continue going, and this resource that I'm paying of damage and horror is fine.
Right.
Or it doesn't matter how long the clock is going because I'm about to die.
Right.
So I need to heal right now.
And this is a good one to, like, maybe you do want Katya on your side for this one, because this one, it is maybe not the majority of the time, but sometimes you will draw this and, like, both of these options would essentially lose the game. Like, right, doom would end the game and the damage would knock people out. Like, there are times when this would be just terrible. But if you can buffer yourself against that with Katya.
And the other really big Katya thing, which I missed until this moment, is if Katya tucks this in, like, the first agenda or whatever, when it's the witching hour, she can draw it during the witching hour. It does not cause the agenda to advance when you add that doom. So it's just a free 3-3 heal to everyone for no cost other than the card draw.
Jeez,
that's good.
At that point, you're like, damage and horror is no longer a concern for the rest of the game. That is very good.
It's like, 4-player game, healing 12 and 12 for no cost other than a single card draw.
Yep.
Wow. All right, impactful.
Okay. This is cool.
That's the cool. Yeah, Katya.
This is a cool dilemma. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
Well, we are down to the other 3/4 of the text that we'll be reading on this video.
I'm excited. I have not read many, if any, of these cards.
The customizable cards?
Yeah.
I guess at some point I should be less glib about what I'm actually talking about.
Yeah.
Like apparently all the classes, Survivor has 3 customizable cards, which if this is the first one of these that you've watched or you're not familiar, they're cards that are level 0 to start, but then you get this wild, doesn't play that well on camera checklist card that you physically write on as you spend experience, and it upgrades all the copies of that card that are in your deck in a variety of ways that you get to choose, pick and choose from. I have found this so far to be very cool, but very confusing as to what you would do with it, and whether you would decide to put it in your deck with kind of, okay, I know where I'm going with this, or whether you would see how a campaign is going and improvise.
I'm not gonna lie, I blacked out after you said physically write on the cards because my heart leapt into my throat.
Oh, they give you extras, like, yeah.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Why, yeah, I don't see why you would not. Like, when you're out of them, you do the same thing that you would have done if you never wrote on.
Sure.
Start printing them out or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't think there's
Cool.
I don't think there's any reason not to write on these. Like,
Okay.
I guess if you're trying to preserve the retail or the resale value of one of your Arkham expansions, maybe, but I don't think that's the way we approach this hobby all that often. So, it's your read, I think.
I will talk about the Pocket Multi-Tool, which is a 3-cost asset with a wild icon, an item, a tool, customizable, limit 1 per investigator. As a fast action, during a skill test you are performing, exhaust Pocket Multi-Tool, you get +1 skill value for this test. Okay. Seems good.
But wait, there's more.
No.
That's the flavor text.
You're right. But wait, there's more. It also takes up a hand slot. So now we talk about all of the things, or do we want to talk about this first?
Well, all that I have to say is that after the set of cards that we've read, I'm very sad to see +1 skill value instead of -1 difficulty.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But maybe something will change that.
Maybe. Why don't you read our scratch paper here?
All right, pocket multi-tool, detachable attachment. No. Other investigators at your location may use the ability on pocket multi-tool. Wow.
Ooh,
That's a little rude.
interesting.
Do they have to ask permission first?
Well, I guess it exhausts it. There's not limited uses.
No.
No, I don't think they have to ask permission.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this is.
All right, bad upgrade. Don't take it.
This might as well say, sign me up for griefing, please.
All right, or we can get the pry bar for one experience. Each box is an experience. Is that how these read?
Yes.
Okay, so for an additional experience, you get an additional +1 skill value for this if it's during a skill test on a treachery. Okay, so I actually really like that in general. I mean, I like defensive things.
That's funny that I hadn't even thought about using that. Like, this is basically a pocket knife, a pocket multi-tool.
Yeah.
That it, like, can stave off, like, whispers in your head.
Yeah.
Like,
Just, you gore yourself. It's fine.
Great strategy.
All right, that's cool. For 2 experience, you can get a sharpened knife, which is you get an additional +1 skill value if it's during an attack.
See, that seems
That
good for a knife.
seems pretty bad.
For 2, that's steep. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Signal mirror for 2 experience, you get a +1 additional value if it's during an evasion.
Mm-hmm.
Magnifying lens +1 during investigate for 2 experience. 3 experience, lucky charm. After you fail a skill test, ready pocket multi-tool.
Oh, now we're talking.
All right, now I'm starting to feel that.
Yeah.
Or for 4 experience, we can get spring loaded. Pocket knife multi-tool's ability is now a reaction ability with the trigger when you would fail a skill test. You're performing exhaust pocket multi-tool.
Now
That's the one.
Suddenly, it's a mini lucky.
It's a mini,
and it can be a full lucky on certain things if you buy those upgrades.
Oh man.
Here's the question, and this is limit 1 per investigator. So even though spending this experience upgrades all copies of it, you can only have one.
Per investigator.
Would you play a level 4 card that takes up a hand slot that is basically a half a lucky that exhausts? Like, that seems expensive.
Do you play Granny Orn, which is a 4 experience ally that is a mini lucky?
No.
Really? She's great. You should.
Yeah, but 4 experience
Yeah.
and an ally slot.
Yeah. And still good. And if you
Yeah.
have them both, then it's a full lucky whenever you need.
Granny Orn with a pocket
With
knife.
the pocket. Just the whole little old lady with the
Yeah.
pocket knife. What are your favorite attachments on this?
I mean, they're all so symmetrical, like so parallel to one another. It's hard to pick a favorite from all the +1s, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it depends on what your deck is doing.
Sure.
But I'm a fan of Lucky Charm. Like, get it back every time you fail.
I agree.
That is, again, it's expensive though.
Yeah.
Like, if you want that and spring loaded, so that it is the mini lucky, all of a sudden it's a 7 experience card.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is, so far, I'm enjoying the design of these customizable cards and the flavor, like the flavor match of like a multi-tool with customizable. Perfect.
Yeah.
A great way to make a card with that concept. But they're really expensive.
Yeah.
I'm really having a hard time picturing spending this much. The one, maybe to play devil's advocate to what I just said, like, you don't have to spend that all at once, right? Like, it's 0 XP to start, and you can spend it over time as you have it handy, but still.
Yeah. What do you? I
Seems
mean,
like
like
a lot.
in general, like, so the tool is simply just skill test boosty. It doesn't inherently do anything. So like
at level 0, I think this is an all right card. I think that 3 resources for it is a lot, and it's considering it takes up a hand slot, right? Like it's an effect that a lot of the time is done by talent cards that are slotless. So using a hand slot for it feels a little steep.
Yeah. I mean, like, how does it compare to something like Ice Pick? Like, Ice Pick is like a +1 skill value while you're investigating or fighting.
Yeah.
It's 1 cost. It's fast. Like,
right. Yeah.
That's filling a similar role. I think the only reason that you take something like this is to get some of these bigger, flashier effects, but then you're spending
so
7
much
XP on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was pretty hot on it, and now I'm pretty lukewarm on it.
Yeah.
It's an item, which is nice.
That's kind of how these customizable cards read, is they read amazing, because you read this menu of amazing abilities, and then you're like, oh, but wait, to get the ones I want, this would be 9 experience.
And then like you need to size it up against a card that does a similar thing, and you're like, actually, this card does it better and cheaper and faster.
Well, the next one is Makeshift Trap, which also sounds like one that there are going to be similar cards that no one plays.
Great.
So we're off to a good start.
Definitely.
It's a 1-cost event that is improvised and a trap, and it's customizable, uses 2 time. That's maybe a new one.
Uses 2 time.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Makeshift Trap has no time, discard it. So it basically has a duration to it. Attached to your location. Each non-elite enemy at attached location gets -1 fight and -1 evade, and then forced at the end of the round remove 1 time from it. So it, at least in its uncustomized state, it lasts 2 turns, giving non-elite enemies -1 fight, -1 evade. I think, and maybe in a moment, maybe we'll see a customizable option to remove the word non-elite. But to me, that is like the deal breaker on this.
Yeah.
Because usually, if you're going to be doing a lot of fighting over multiple turns at one location, it's an elite enemy.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, at level 0, I think this is pretty meh.
Yeah.
If it was fast, I would consider it being pretty good.
Yeah, I think this is hot garbage. Take the lid, leave the trap.
So this is just the garbage that was in the trash can after you stole the lid and used it for a kind of shitty shield.
Correct.
Great. Got it.
But here's what you can do with it. You can improvise its time, or sorry, not improvise, improve its timer.
Okay.
When you play Makeshift Trap, you may increase or decrease its uses by 1. Why would you decrease it?
There's going to be something that like explodes. 100%.
You're right. There will be. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
All right. A tripwire. Only trigger Makeshift Trap's force ability if there are 1 or more enemies at attached location.
Oh.
Oh, so
that's very good.
That's much better. Time doesn't tick down unless it's doing something.
That's great.
So you can play it, kill the one enemy that's there, and it at least sits around with like another time on it and for the next time.
Enemy,
yeah. That seems like a big upgrade. You can make your trap simple. Makeshift Trap gains fast and play during any window. Seems good. You can make. Oh, now we're getting to the fun stuff. You can make your trap poisonous. When you remove 1 or more time from Makeshift Trap, deal 1 damage to an enemy at attached location. Seems good. You can give your trap a remote configuration so that when you play it, you may attach it to a revealed connecting location.
I like that.
Yeah, it's all right. Like, it doesn't... Well, I guess if it's dealing damage because it's poisonous, it can inherently kill the enemies. I was kind of like, well, you'd still have to go in and do the fighting.
No, that's fair.
You can give it a net. I like that one of these upgrades is just called net. Non-elite enemies at attached location cannot move or make attacks of opportunity. Especially the make attacks of opportunity part seems very good. Mm-hmm. This did not remove the non-elite, it just also only applies to them.
Okay.
And explosive device.
There
we made
it
it.
is.
Yeah. When Makeshift Trap has no time and is discarded, deal 3 damage to each enemy and investigator at attached location.
It's a, what's it called? Dynamite?
Well, so, okay. So
this is a longer fused dynamite. That's
so
hilarious.
you can give this remote configuration, improved timer, and explosive device to make it dynamite at the low cost of 7 experience. Right? You can reduce its timer to 1, put it in a connecting location, and have it explode, and it's functionally dynamite, and it's cheaper on resources, but it is 7 experience. To be fair, that's 7 experience for 2 copies of it in your deck if you want. But
so Brennan, I have to say, last week when you and Steven revealed the rogue cards, Brandon made a comment about, oh, this is gonna be, it's I want it to be good, but like for all the work I have to put into thinking about the card, and I was just like, that's so dumb. And then I was just like, this one, it hit me, and I was just like, I don't want to even think about how. I'm like, because already traps are so weird in Arkham, where it's like you have to be so specific, you have to be in the right circumstances. This is already so specific, and then to add like a specific laundry list of this is how you need to make this trap work.
It adds 7 new decision points to every time you upgrade your deck for the rest of the campaign. Like,
it's a lot of work.
I'm not kidding.
No, I'm with you. I'm like I don't want to put this in a deck because I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, the mental load that customizable cards add is something that makes them have to be that much better for me to want to play them. And so far, they haven't seemed like it. I could be misevaluating them. These could all be amazing. It's never happened before, but this is the first time for everything.
Yep. I mean, I guess maybe I need to start looking at these not like, okay, I want at least like 2 things. I'm like, how would this read if Makeshift Trap was just simple? If it was just a fast, for 2 experience, fast during any time, play it during any player window, drop it on your location, these non-elite enemies get -1/-1.
For 2 rounds.
For 2 rounds.
I think that sounds bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad card.
Yeah. And okay, you really, since you can get 2 copies of it for that too, you could consider like, well, is it more equivalent to a 1 experience card? But still bad.
The only saving grace this card I feel like has is at level 0, and you're playing it in a I want to reduce everything to 0 in this archetype. That's where this card lives.
That's a good point. We were just saying it's much rarer to reduce fight and evade than to reduce shroud, and this
it
does that.
Both.
That's valid. Yeah.
Too much work.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it into my difficulty reduction all dilemma Daryl deck. I had to think about what's the name of the photographer. He's not exactly like an iconic Arkham character.
No, I know. I was like, if I'm thinking photographer, I'm thinking Rex, even though that's wrong.
Right.
Because he's the reporter.
Okay, our last skill card, or our last customizable card is a skill. What is it?
It's Grizzled. I love skill cards in general, so I will put in the mental load. I'm saying it right now. You can hold me to it.
Yeah.
We'll see in 5 minutes if that's still true.
Okay.
All right, Grizzled is a skill that has a wild icon. It is innate. It is developed, traded. Does that matter for someone? No, it's practiced. Never mind. Customizable. When you purchase Grizzled, choose and record 2 traits on its upgrade sheet.
Oh, so we saw a rogue card whose name escapes me do something similar, right? Where when you add it to your deck, you write a trait on the sheet. This one writes 2. That's better. It's better already.
It's already better.
Card. Yeah.
I mean, it's a red card, so it's great.
Sure.
Besides for all those red cards we banned.
Well, yeah, but we're not talking about this.
No. Yeah. All right, so if this skill test is on or against an encounter card, including fighting, evading, or parlaying, Grizzled gains 2 wild icons for each of the chosen traits that the encounter card possesses.
Oh, so this is a skill card with 1 wild icon that you are customizing to have 3 wild icons against specific traits.
Well, up to 5. If
it has both of them,
both.
But that's not going to be that common.
Yeah.
I think more likely you would want to choose it based on the campaign you're running, an enemy trait and a treachery trait, or maybe even a location trait, right? Like you could
Miskatonic.
Yeah, or like is there a I'm trying to think of like what's a trait that's on tons of locations in all the scenarios that you do 5 times in Edge of the Earth. Like there's got to be some because it says an encounter card, including. It's funny that this says if this is a skill test on or against an encounter card. Locations are encounter cards, right?
Yep.
And then this says including, like this clarifies that includes fights, even though that's not like printed as an action. I think is why it says this includes fights, includes evading. It says includes parlaying, which that surprises me that they specify that because that usually is printed on the card. But then it doesn't. I'm surprised it doesn't say including investigation. So now I wonder, does it include investigation, or is that not a skill test on or against an encounter card? Maybe it doesn't include investigating, because there would be some campaigns where like if you name, I don't know, this like isn't there one trait that's on like all of the like title depth cards
Haunted.
that are throughout? Haunted's not a trait. That's a keyword.
Oh,
right?
okay. Oh, yeah.
But the like title tunnels locations that you use in like 6 out of 8 Innsmouth scenarios, don't those probably all have the same trait?
Yeah.
And it would just be pretty busted. So maybe
you're
this
right.
doesn't work for investigation.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, you don't take skill tests on locations. You take them against a shroud.
But that's printed on the location. Like, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would think that if this includes fighting an enemy, it would include investigating a location. That's how my brain processed it.
No, that's.
I think
that
that's
makes
logical.
sense.
But the fact that it doesn't
Locations
say...
are definitely encounter cards. I know that.
Yeah. And I think it was unnecessary to clarify that it includes parlaying because that's printed on the card, so that obviously is included.
Sure.
Why? But I don't know.
All right, let's find out.
Let us know in the comments
what this upgrade can do.
Oh, there's still 27 lines of text to read.
Yeah.
Okay.
So traits chosen is the first thing. So like when you pick it, you write down these traits. Specialist, you get to choose another trait for 1 experience. Specialist. Again, you can choose another trait, but for 2 experience that time.
I'd go straight to that one. That one's got to be better.
Yes, that is what they're going after.
More expensive things are always better, Kyle.
It's true.
Yeah.
Nemesis for 3 experience. If this skill test is on or against an enemy, I hate that. Or against an enemy with a chosen trait, and the test is successful, you may attach Grizzled to that enemy, reduce the difficulty of tests on or against that enemy by 1. So again, reducing difficulty.
Yeah, until you kill that enemy. But so it probably like applies to maybe 1 more test.
I mean, it doesn't say non-elite.
No, that's true.
Just throw it on the boss.
I'm gonna name elite as one of the traits on Grizzled. That works, right? Yeah, that totally works.
Yeah, it totally works.
That totally works.
Damn. All right, I see you. I mean, that makes sense because like you're grizzled from facing so many big bads that you're just like, I'm good at killing big bads.
For sure.
All right, Mythos Hardened. If this skill test is on a treachery with the chosen trait and the test is successful, you may add both Grizzled and that treachery to the victory display.
Ooh.
Interesting. Getting a nasty treachery out of the rotation is not bad, but...
Yeah, like in Circle Undone, the treacheries that like work in 3s, just throw one out of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
I can think of a couple good opportunities for that. But it's a niche. It's a niche effect. Yeah.
All right, and then for 5 experience... Always prepared. After you draw an encounter card with the chosen trait, return 1 copy of Grizzled from your discard pile to your hand, max once per round. So that's good. That is good. There's no doubt that that's not good. Is it worth 5 experience?
I mean, to essentially name a trait and then always have 3 icons against it, seems good.
Pretty good.
But you have to... Like, the experience is spent for the campaign, right? Like, are there going to be treachery traits that you feel good about putting 5 experience into fighting off for an entire campaign?
Hex for the...
Okay, yeah, there's some.
I don't know.
It's an interesting one. But it just feels so expensive. I don't know.
I'd say I think it's good at level 0.
Yeah?
For like a Silas?
Yeah, actually, yes. I think that this card's okay at level 0.
Right.
I think you might if you had it in your deck just in its level 0 form, you might upgrade out of it at some point. But
yeah, I would agree.
I actually agree with you there. It's a decent level 0 skill.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure how much more experience you want to pour into it.
Yeah. I feel like you either need to go all in or just keep it at 0. I don't think you really mess around with the specialists, to be completely honest. I think. Well, no, I take it back immediately. The first specialist, I think you take if you're going into like 5 or 4 experience, because you just need it to hit more targets.
I mean, so here's the thing: is if you get like always prepared, you can get to a point where there are 4 traits that return this to your hand, which means it will be returned to your hand a lot, and also it is worth 3 icons against those. That does feel pretty good.
Yeah, but then there's also the caveat is if you draw the encounter card with the chosen trait.
Sure. Yeah, but you can, I mean, on a scenario basis, if you could name 4 traits, that could cover most of the encounter.
It could be a 70% of the
deck. Easily, maybe 90. In a campaign, that's probably less true, but still not true.
I mean, probably like I feel like I don't know. I'd have to look at that. I don't know the actual math behind it, but like in something that's like the Circle Undone, where it's like you're fighting a bunch of cultists throughout.
Yeah.
Or witches. Like, witches and cultists will cover most of the enemies throughout the entire campaign.
Sure, yeah. I think I'm higher on Grizzled than on the multi-tool or Makeshift trap.
I agree.
But not that high on it. How are you feeling about the red cards? It's the Scarlet keys. The Scarlet cards we've now reviewed. They must have been the highlight of the box, right? Right?
I think they were good. I think, honestly, I think Daryl is very good. I think Daryl will be very fun as an investigating seeker.
Fun. I agree, he will be fun.
You don't think he'll be good?
No.
Alright, I'll tell you why he's good.
Please.
He has 5 intellect. Real good.
That's good.
That's all he needs.
And he can run...
He's a survivor. So also, he's going to survive. So it's not like the 2 willpower doesn't scare me because he's going to be able to survive. He's going to be able to knock off whatever damage and horror and stupid stuff. He has 3 agility, which I would argue is the second most important thing. So it's like he has some bit of defensiveness so that he can still get back to doing what he needs to do, which is investigating. And you can play with this cute little new 0 archetype. reducing things to 0. Sounds fun. Sounds
All right.
fine.
Sounds fine. He can't. You left off the most important thing that does make him an amazing investigator. He can play yellow cards.
He can play yellow cards.
Yellow cards are
I
good.
kind of forgot.
Yellow cards are good. Yeah.
I like red cards so much. I forgot he can play yellow cards.
He can. He should.
And he will.
He will. All right. Well, that winds down our second of, I think it will be 6 videos. So thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed and liked and commented and done all the things, please do. And next week, I believe will be a first for Optimal Play. It'll be a video that I'm not in because you and Steven are going to talk through.
Thank goodness.
I know. Everyone's been clamoring for it for years.
For years. They're like, this is good content, but get this guy out of here.
I love the channel, but get Brandon off of my screen. Yeah, I hear it all the time. And it's finally going to happen next week as you two talk about, I don't know, Doom and stuff.
Doom play.
I don't like it. I think I was maybe the first one to say that, but I don't like the way you say it. Yeah. Well, I won't see you next week, but you'll get another hour of this guy to put up with.
You're welcome.
Until then, be optimal.